Well, hello. Yeah, okay. I swear to God, this is the last time me using this kind of poor my webcam quality. Actually, I will use my camera later on. I do apologize, but I just had to talk about this. Like, yeah, a lot of things that will be said in this video could trigger you, right? And also, I do think that this topic is quite overused maybe lately in the community, of course, especially in the mobiles community. But at the same time, I think we have to pay attention to this because some things here really do make some sense. I don't know exactly why do I think that way, but maybe you will catch up on my thoughts process later on when I just describe what I see. So one person sent me this TikTok video and he said, you have to see this. It's interesting, it makes sense, and maybe you will realize that something is happening or something is going on. And I was like, what is going on? And then I watched the video. Yes, now I have this similar view to the situation, and let's just think about this. We had Clancy a year ago. We had Breach almost a couple of weeks ago. So is it fair to say that we deserve third album? Which is kind of insane. Before y'all throwing tomatoes at me by saying that I'm being not ungrateful that we had enough content, of course I agree with that point of view. Let's just watch this video that someone sent to me. I swear to God, somehow it makes some type of a sense. Maybe even a tiny bit of a sense, but it still makes it. Let's watch this together actually.
I know I'm going to get backlash for saying this, but 21 Pilots fans, we really do need to talk about this fake track list, okay? Because we have now gotten the contract, we have now gotten Drag Path. And I do think that there is a possibility for a third album at the end of this tour. Do I think we are owed a third album? Absolutely not. They have given us so much new music, so I'm not saying that. I'm just here to speculate because I love to speculate. And I do think
Me too.
There is enough evidence that this list could be real. So let's talk about the evidence. So at the end of Clancy tour, Tyler was wearing these different shirts, and a lot of them had numbers that corresponded with the alphabet.
This is insane, actually.
We're finding out what they said. Okay? One of those was Seldom Surface. One of those was Do You Feel at Home? But the other reason that I think that his shirts are significant is because there are pictures that were on his shirts that are also now in the digital remains. So if these shirts don't mean anything, or he was just doing it to throw us off, that doesn't make any sense. Let me show you. So he wore this shirt with the dogs, and that's him laying there covering his face. And then in the digital remains, it's the exact same picture with the lyrics to Center Mass. So if I'm correct about the lore continuing, which I'm literally 98%.
This point is also intriguing because why the lore has to continue, because it is over, which is stated in the end of the city walls, because we had already like credits roll, right, actually. So
sure that it is continuing. These dogs are demons, and Center Mass is his soul. The necromancer is the devil. The dogs are trying to eat out his soul, and he is like, getting like this to try to keep them from eating his soul out. But let's go back to this list. So he wore a shirt that said Seldom Surface. He wore a shirt that says Do You Feel at Home? I know those two for sure. But let's look at these.
First of all, okay, let's stop. Let me just critically think about this. First of all, where do we see this track list? I need to know, guys, because I think I've searched something a little bit, but at the same time, I haven't seen anything, because I do believe that the contract is correct. Drag Path is here, right? Then we saw Seldom Surface t-shirt. We saw maybe No Kin, as far as I'm aware of. And also, I think we saw Do You Feel at Home? Because I did some research, guys, like today, and it's interesting, but all of the other songs, Flowers, Blue Wire, Halfway Home, Glass Lungs, Blindfold, Split, Crossfire, is this really you? What the hell is this? Like, where do we see these titles even? What is the evidence here? So if y'all are aware, please let me know, send some links, because I have no idea where we see this, and I think it's not quite 100% true. Maybe some of these are real words that they used to promote the Breach album, and probably some of this is fake and made up by the fans. And also I do see that below it says item code and 0075678594670, and the label is titled Atlantic. So basically this is some kind of a website that like approves some new projects when they are ready to drop them, right? And I don't think it makes sense, because why they would change it in the end. So let's continue. Yeah, let's continue before me even stopping this. Let's just continue, because there will be a lot of things to discuss later.
Yes. Let's look at flowers and graffiti. Oh, look. Would you look at that? There's graffiti in the digital remains.
Yeah, kind of valid point.
But you know what else I find interesting? That there's a song called Flowers, and then they also have a breach opaque orchid.
Breach opaque orchid vinyl. This is kind of a reach, I think, because they would have used it anyway, and also, but at the same time, it cannot be a reach because it's a breach. Okay, I'm kidding. I just wanted to rhyme it. They could have used any type of a different word here, right? They could have said anything like just opaque vinyl, maybe, but they specifically added orchid. So does it make it intentional? I do want to believe that, because I'm a big speculator here, as some of y'all probably too. So yeah, let's continue.
Final. An orchid is a flower. That's very interesting. People think I'm stretching, but I think this new symbol that we see for Nova Bishop is the orchid.
I mean, makes sense. Yeah,
it seems like a stretch, but I'm pretty sure. Obviously,
but at the same time, it feels like a stretch.
The Breach album cover, but I think they used that to make a flower shape. There's also a song called Glass Lungs.
This
and you know what song has lungs mentioned in it? Downstairs. You can have
this is for
all
sure
I've
reach.
made and all I've ever known. You can have both my lungs if you ask me so. Okay. There's one more thing that I just want to mention, and then I'll let you go. Okay, so Tyler also wore this picture on a shirt at the end of Clancy tour, and it is also in the digital remains. It is of the Heavy Dirty Soul tambourine, and I think the significance here is that Heavy Dirty Soul is the song attributed to Keons. Keons was Clancy's bishop. Clancy loved Keons. They had a very good relationship. They were tight. Keons gave him wisdom and comfort. He was safe and warm.
I'm not sure about this one because I'm not that aware of this side of the lore.
This is going. We possibly, I'm not saying for sure, may get a third album at the end of this. Number 2, Keons is Nova Bishop, who represents Jesus, like Aslan.
Is he? I don't think we have approval that Keon is the Nova Bishop. I thought it was Clancy, like the new Clancy. But I think I'm wrong though, so yeah.
Represents Jesus in the Chronicles of Narnia, okay? That's where this is going. And I do think that orchids, purple orchids specifically, and blue light are going to be associated when Keons triumphs and comes to save Clancy. That's all I got for today. I hope you guys are having a great Tuesday, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, now that we saw this video together, let me share my own thoughts about this one. So, we saw the tracklist, right? And I'm not 100% sure that it is totally correct, of course, and I do believe some of this is made up by the fans, unfortunately, and maybe if it is indeed like the real tracklist, or I don't think we ever got even the approval that this is a tracklist at all. Maybe this is something totally different, but what makes it kind of intriguing is because these words were never used in the breach. So basically, let me follow up my thoughts. Yeah, I do believe that maybe this is some type of a old tracklist, and if it is an old tracklist and they scrapped it and changed some songs, some titles, then probably it makes sense for them to leave it like this. But it's so strange because I do believe that some of these t-shirts, shirts with those numbers that are translating into these words, they were used like not that long time ago, this year. So apparently, is it fine to think that they can change things just like that? I mean, do they have enough time for that? Last minute changes and things like that. I don't think it's kind of logical for them to tease all of this and not use it anywhere, because of course people I think 21 Pilots, like Tyler and Josh, are totally aware that their fans are so speculative, so they love just digging into something, right? They are big detectives, and I do appreciate that side of this fandom a lot. So why would they intentionally make us think that this is something and in the end scrap all of it? Like maybe they would have said already, mentioned that these words were wrong, we were wrong, we changed everything. Please do not take this as full 100% correct thing. We had a change of mind. But at the same time, they don't have to, because it's the own fault of their fandom. Like they are trying to dig in too deep. Maybe it is the case, but hold on. So yeah, my official theory is that this is the old tracklist for Breach, and they changed everything, removed some songs, added new ones, and that's what we have with the new Breach. Yeah, and with that state of mind, like my state of mind, let's continue, because I have further evidence that maybe my statement is kind of shallow. Now we are moving. Okay, I will show you something different later, but now we have to look at the comments on this video, because they are interesting, because some fans are really making valid points here. Oh yeah, it looks like an orchid, the center of one. I'm a florist, I've seen many orchids. LOL. So basically, this is kind of a proof in itself. Like some people really do know how orchids looking, right? So maybe it is the case. A stretch, but I thought it was possibly demo titles. For example, downstairs mentions lungs multiple times, possible being glass lungs, but again, it's a stretch. I kinda agree with this one. This is kinda correlates with my own theory, right? Maybe, but why would they put trackpad when it's not supposed to come out and only be both? Let's hope for another album soon. Thought the boys should rest. Yeah, it is kind of strange that they dropped trackpad in the end. Like, why? This is the only song that they decided to drop in the end. Maybe because it gives some type of a hope in the end, right? But at the same time, I don't think it was. Was it intentional? This point is kind of interesting, yeah. To be fair, what did they spend $1 million on city walls on? Backgrounds and CGI? There's gotta be more. I personally think we'll get an alternate ending to City Walls where he actually breaks it. It won't be the true ending, but alternate. Trackpad saying "Find Me" was on digital remains with a 50-page booklet. So, well, I mean CGI and effects are expensive if they're good, so I don't know. Because I doubt they went on location for the flashbacks. They made a ground on the set with a green screen around the perimeter. Like I said, I don't feel like for the video they have, it was worth $1 million. Most of it was in the castle. It was just green screen backgrounds and then building 3 sets, 4 including outside the tower, 5 inside, but that could have been during Paladin straight. I also just realized, what if they spent 1 million on Paladin, the contract in City Walls? That makes sense, but I specifically said City Walls though, so I don't know. So apparently they say this on an interview, which I haven't seen yet, so I'm not saying that this is 100% true, but still. Yeah, exactly, there's of course, if they really did travel back to Iceland, etc. to recreate the old things, it might add up. But a mil just sounds so excessive, and it doesn't nearly look good enough for the CGI to add that much up. So basically, this is a so valid point, and this will trigger probably a lot of fans because we are looking kind of too spoiled because we want more. But at the same time, just think about it. When I first watched the music video for City Walls, when I did my own reaction video to it, and I really felt like there wasn't enough for me to say that they spent $1 million. Maybe Tyler over exaggerated it in his interview, maybe not. But of course, I think it was kind of fair because the biggest portion of the video was still inside of that castle in which he fights with Nico. So there was no need to spend that much actually, because they were just fighting. So what are the main things which they have to spend on money? Like CGI, of course, maybe traveling to Iceland to film some old shots, right? The transportation, maybe the crew members, and maybe this was long shooting. So yeah, basically, I think it's not fair to judge them, because maybe if we count everything, every single detail of which, of course, we have no idea about, maybe it is indeed $1 million that they spent on this music video. So this point actually valid from one side and kind of wrong from the other side. So I don't think we have to just sit here all along. Let's continue. If you're right, then I'll give you a firm handshake. If you're wrong, you will literally break my heart after giving me hope. That's so me. Has anyone tried seeing if the breach digital remains are a puzzle? This one. Wait, WTF. It's crazy because I was like, yeah, wow, this fake list, but then I just realized we did get a song from here, so what does that mean? Basically, yeah, but at the same time, I don't think Dragpad was teased with t-shirts and shirts. I think it was teased in some type of other way, as much as I'm aware of. So I don't know about this one, yeah. And in one of the first interviews, Tyler explaining why he named the album Breach, like breaching truest. And with the build up to this album, Tyler has been very upfront with us. Makes me think a swerve or something this coming. Yes, say it louder, he was too upfront about everything. And about this one, yeah, being too upfront with fans. This one is the most interesting one, and I will save it for the ending, so keep in touch. Do not forget about this one. Let's continue. I saw someone say it would make sense to have the third album called Torchbearer, so we'd have Clancy, Breach, Torchbearer. It fits too well. Also, how do we know it wasn't just Clancy saying it was the end, but that doesn't cover if it's not the end for him as a bishop. Interesting. I think we're going in a new direction of the lore. This is the last album for the Fueled by Ramen, and what we're going to see is a whole new direction under his new music production company. So I think you're right about the third album. This one is interesting because I had no idea that they were just like leaving from their label, Fueled by Ramen, and I think it's kind of interesting to see. And of course, it gives them more freedom as the artist, right? I figured it was the OG names for the songs and or other songs that didn't end up on the album. This is so funny. And they have been being super upfront about everything. Yeah, I was gonna say his tweet of random letters made no sense if Breach is the final lore album. I wonder if they put it out to see who would leak it. Does anyone else remember that random picture on the website and the file name was flowers? This one, I don't really trust this one because I have no idea what they're talking about, so feel free to share with me, of course, yeah. Okay, now we're done with this video and let's move on to the next thing that's on our map list today, and it is Reddit. So let's continue our rabbit hole. Yeah, so apparently No Kin is maybe some type of a change to their old song, which was on their track list before. I think it was their one of their oldest concerts, and I do believe that Kin is meaning something, but exactly I don't know what. So yeah, I won't pay that much of attention to this one specifically. Let's continue. This one is interesting. So what happened with No Kin, Seldom Surface, Do You Feel at Home? These were all teased on Talis t-shirts, and it's definitely weird that none of these phrases have shown up at all, right? You could maybe chalk it up to lyrics changes between the shirt teasers and the album release, but I doubt that because why would they tease things they aren't sure is a permanent idea. That's what I'm talking about. And will lyrics changes really affect all three of these phrases? And would lyrics changes really affect all three of these phrases? So valid. There would be a hell of an unfortunate coincidence. Exactly. Perhaps we misunderstood these clues, which is probably is the case, or we were supposed to do more with them than just take them as potential lyrics or song titles. Kinda makes sense too. I also do believe the lore is truly over, like me. Perhaps the upcoming tour will give us more details, but the City Walls music video was very final. I don't think there are any more surprise plot twists. I would be very surprised. It's true. Either way, I find it incredibly interesting that these teasers did not come to fruition. I'm absolutely not saying there will be even more music. I was a double album truther because there was evidence for it, but a third on an EP would be frankly insane. Exactly, I agree. And okay, this one is the most interesting one for me. So apparently Tyler tweeted this thing. ADIHGRTNSND. They're just like random letters, right? And later he said, after 1 minute, guys, this is literally nothing. Come on. You know, I would be straightforward with you about everything. Well, what do you think about this one? As you see, this is not the track list for the Breach, nor for the Clancy, which of course makes sense, yeah. But overall, why he had to do this? Look at this, like, it does not make sense. We don't have the song which starts from the letter H on Breach. We don't have Cottonwood here, and even the order of the letters is wrong if we are considering this as a track list for the Breach. So this has to mean something, right? Because he wouldn't do this just to mess with his own fan base, right? guys, this is literally nothing. Come on, I'll be straightforward with you about everything. And his wording in this one, I'll be straightforward with you about everything. And also later, the comments were mentioning that in the interview, he said that he tries to be super upfront with everything. So basically, it kind of proves my point, right? Are we being too into details, or we're so on point that it's actually scary? Do we believe that we will have third project? So yeah, let's summarize all of this. What do we know in the end? We have these random letters which didn't lead to anything in the end. We have track path that dropped and it was teased with all of these other songs like Seldom Surface, No Kin, which does not make sense because why only track path is out? Maybe they scrapped all of the other songs, but overall, yeah. Also, the price of the music video, yeah, it feels like it doesn't add up with the end result, final result, but I think we're being just arrogant here, yeah. Okay, I'm going crazy right now. And also, I do remember the latest post before the breach. It was the track list and also the message from Tyler himself. Like he said, this will be like the last lore album. We will continue. We are not saying that we are stopping as a group, but we will perform less. This is our last tour in a long time, and we will take a huge long hiatus break, right? So of course they will stop touring, but does it make them to stop putting out music like without touring? I don't think so. So yeah, we're just being here delusional overall. Yeah, I think I've yapped for quite too long, and feel free to share your own thoughts, and I'm just happy to discuss everything with y'all. Yeah, I think there are some valid points, and I think there are a lot of reaches too. So yeah, feel free to share all of your thoughts. I know that this video was all over the place, and I'm so sorry for that, but I just wanted to vent this stuff out because I don't think this is discussed enough in this fan base for now. Yeah. And thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this as much as I did. Go feel free to watch all of my other videos if y'all haven't about 21 Pilots, and I do believe that this makes sense in the end. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace. P.S. Do not be so delusional because it will just ruin all of your experience, because you will expect something and it won't happen and you will be just destroyed and you will be sad. So don't get your hopes too high. Yeah, be realistic. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Peace.